go. Okay, before we ran out of camera battery and Dave has downloaded, but just to show, we put the croc on. It's been built up. We were poking all the foam before, I think. All built up, and we've etched back with the finger here so that it's nice and sculpted, and we'll put grout in there later so that we've got room. We're still sort of digging out areas. Because when it goes vertical, hey Maureen, we want that nice contour, don't we? Mm. So we're doing that all around, and then you'll see in here is a little Mr. Borax man, and we'll buff him up later. So what we did, we put our hands on, it's like pressing on his heart, and Steve, we jumped on the croc, didn't we, Maury, and we got him locked down. And so that's connecting to the rapid set, Latticrete thin set base, as we said before, the 4237, and we mix it with black, midnight black. So we've got all this down, and we've checked for air pockets. We had 2 bricks and a piece of plastic holding it down. Sometimes it doesn't, Maureen, that the wetness of the thin set reactivates the well bond. So some of this had well bond, and it's sort of, you hold it to get that connection. Other bits had thin set and it glues really fast. We've raised up the snout a little bit up here, and what we're doing with a sponge and wringing it out in water, very important, almost dry, because you shouldn't move it. Thin set has a memory, and if you keep moving it, you're making it less sticky, like pulling sticky tape off your clothes or apron clothing, and it gets less sticky. These little lumps of thin set here, and when we glued it down before, if we do this now, we're moving the substrate, we're moving the whole thing. We're removing it and jolting it against its gluing time. So often we'll just wipe it over lightly so we can see it. Even later, thin set comes off quite easily. When that's dried tomorrow morning or later tonight, I could get it with a green scourer like this, hay pop, and it just comes off. Then after that, and that's just a bit of tooth we're just gluing in there, a little bit of smalty, so we can just show again another bit of thin set out of the bucket, and just pop it into place and push it down. And often you keep bumping those bits, but you can always put that in later. So he's got beautiful teeth hidden under there. His tail's been raised up here. That bit of mesh will be covered later. We shouldn't have this running water here. That's where I just threw that down. Never have wet. The water is the worst thing you can have because it's diluting your thin set. You don't mix water with thin set, but a little bit on a dry, almost dry sponge is good. So if you see any water anywhere, mop it up. So we put the croc down, and you can see he's got 3D there. He's going to look beautiful. When we grout, we sculpt, and these areas here where you say, wow, it's high, how are we going to do it? When we put the grout in, we just soften and smooth, and we file back and do things. If you follow me up here, pop it please, you can see that we just lifted this up out of the way while we're doing it, and then Miss Uluru, when she goes down, it'll all just lock into place. It's a good idea to leave your major pieces down, put your smaller pieces, glue them down and fit them into it. Then you know that they can't get out of space, you'll fit everything in. Look, Austral brick, Australia. We move that out of the way, you can see it's all coming together. And we put on also gorgeous owl by my mum, gorgeous little echidna, and a beautiful kookaburra. And so we're just working our way along, and you can see it's all black and gunky. It'll scrub up. We put a lot on this platypus. He's beautiful, but he was very small pieces. And again, when that's dry, the green scour will just bring it up. So it's all good. We've been using our newspaper a lot and pushing down to hold them in place, and usually you don't get them a lot of mess, but in some of these we had to, didn't we, more, because they needed a lot of pressing down and our hands were dirty. Down here all day long, Dr. Des and his wife Pam have been cutting out all these hundreds of pieces of beautiful things. Vicky in America, all these children from the school she worked with, they had a little article in the paper, didn't they, in Tennessee. Maureen and Mozzie Maud have cut out beautiful mirrors for our gum leaves and all those gorgeous things. Look at these gorgeous little things here. Oh, the mesh is just so great. Here we have snakes and big snakes out of China. And I love this. It's on the piece of cardboard from up in Australia. Shelley and I are quite taken with this. And look at the beautiful, isn't he beautiful? He's called Thank You Blue. Shirley, who is now also Polly from the Trolley, made him and named him after me. But her son Christopher, and I reckon like the next Steve Irwin, her son Christopher is an amazing young man. And he has snakes and blue tongues, and he works in the fruiting industry, and he finds little green tree frogs this big and brings them home, and they let them get big, so tiny on the left sleeve, and they take them back to the wild. And so they're a wonderful family. So they're really passionate about the snakes and the lizards and things. Maureen and I don't quite like holding them, Terry. We aren't as good as you, do we? No. But we respect people that do it, but we love the creatures. We're just not as brave as all these people. But they've got them called Annie and wonderful little names, haven't they, Pop?
Yeah.
And see this pink thing on my head? Can you see that?
Yep.
David got it today. $6, the best thing. My glasses kept falling off because I keep doing this. I haven't had time to go down and get them fitted. Saved my life. Get one, everyone. Brilliant, aren't they, Pop? Saves you a lot of money. And then down here you can see the beautiful sea things. Oh, look, here's the rat that Ladder Creek's wife and her best friend made over here one day. Isn't he beautiful? Maureen's jellyfish are beyond gorgeous. And this was made by Margaret and her little granddaughter. And there's two of those. Here's another one. And that was their first time using thin set. See how the thin set looks different? You can glue it down with black or white, any colour. And she's really progressed, hasn't she, Maureen? And they're going to look gorgeous. See how the black thin set makes the tiles very dark? If they had white underneath, you get a lighter colour. So therefore, you're really clever. Glued down with two shades of thin set, you'll get a variation from the same tile, wouldn't you, Maureen? Over here, where you can see things where the mesh is showing through. Oh no, that one's being fixed. See, Maureen patiently went over all of these with white thin set from the children's birthday parties. Was it Sabrina's birthday party? And fixed them all up. Aren't they gorgeous? So here, this is a really old jellyfish I made as a sample. Gorgeous. Oh, Sabrina's otter. Isn't he cute? Now, why he looks all rough there is Maureen, again, is covered it in white thin set on top of the well bond, and we'll scrub that up so that we don't see the mesh through. That's the only drawback with mesh and clear things. But once you know the right glues, but we can't expect everyone to have them, can we, Maureen? Here's Dom's prawn, because life's a bit of a prawn or something, he says. And we've got the beautiful frog. That was one of our first mosaics we received from overseas. Very first one that came home from overseas, and we just love it. And look at this most gorgeous, cutest, fantastic little thing, little frog from Vicky's lot. This is a beautiful frog, isn't it? Look at him. And I wonder who this is. This is Kate. Maureen and Kate made this, and it's a lovely red frog. Here's another one, which just dropped in one day with a name. I didn't even meet them. Pink dolphin. Look at this. Gorgeous, and we love this. Polly made this thing with the big little lips. Aren't they fabulous? And look at the beads and Mum's big fish. It's just so much, isn't it, Maureen? Oh, that was a very important turtle, wasn't it? This turtle was made by a little girl and her grandmother at one of the Starlight Foundation special days we had here. And that was in the paper too, wasn't it? Just gorgeous. And I think another croc, he's going to be a beauty. The seals, and we'll go through them all eventually, but we just want to let you see how we're spreading them out on the boards, all pre-treated, you know, with the wonderful, wonderful Ladder Creek, the latest stuff out. I meant to say everyone put it on the sea panel. I keep saying seafood, so it's a bit funny. So you can see this is preparations. Pan down the studio, Maureen, as you walk back. Wow. Oh, you're doing a good job, and you learn with videoing, the slower you go, the more people can watch. I tend to be, too fast, don't I, Pop? And this little penguin, and this is important, these were made by Chris from overseas, and funnily enough, these little tiny things, when they get filled in more, we add a bit of mirror, they really come out. Even from here, can't you see the blue and green effect there? The panda's gorgeous, the monkey. So you can see this is our studio, and it's totally ransacked. Look at all the glues and grouts across the room. Ladder Creek have been so generous, haven't they, Maureen? So we're having a ball, aren't we? So we just work our way back. Thanks, pop it down to the... That's the way. Look at this gorgeous thing up here. If you move along a bit. Thank you. Shove Maureen out of the way. The trusty, filthy the lippinets. We love the lips, don't we? Can't do anything without them at all. That and 4237 and blue tack and plastic are our best friends, aren't they? What we've been finding the newspaper thing works really well, haven't we, Maureen? If you want to save on plastic and all your glad wrap, see how it looks. We just, as we're pressing them down, a bit of clean newspaper pressing down, you can get a very clean effect. See, they're not all filthy, are they? We had some really good bits go down. It just depends how fast you work and what you're doing with it, doesn't it? Yeah. And so, and if you look from the back there, that shows the sculpting, Maureen, doesn't it? You see so much more on a video than a camera, don't you? Because the camera gives the 3D. So we just, I love doing this, but don't you, Pop it? It's nice. And we just want this good definition around here. Dear little thing, just don't bite us. How anyone can leap on a crocodile is beyond